Ladies and gentlemen, meine Damen und Herren, Mesdames et Messieurs, good afternoon and welcome back to our fourth match of the day, which is Germany against France. And now let me introduce you to referees. The center referee, Nordin Sobowitz. The assistant referee, Steve Crump. The second assistant referee, Niels Christian Simonsen. And the fourth official, Rémi Simon. And the teams for Germany, number 8, the captain, Marco Roland. Number 2, Luise Mittag. Number 7, Felicitas Fischer. Number 9, Efekan Onamnes. Number 11, Thies Otterstetter. Number 14, Acacio Cossa. Number 20, Ludwig Leinweber. Number 55, Daniel Oleg. And the head coach, Nuri Onamnes. And his assistants, Kai Rollmann, Arno Leinweber, Thomas Mittag, and the team manager, Jörg Diel. And for the French team, with number 10, the captain, Mohamed Gelami. Number 4, Erwan Kong. Number 5, Morgan Lifant. Number 8, Brian Weiss. Number 9, Aurélien Filantre. Number 11, Youssef Ayazadam. Number 12, Tristan Lebeyer. Number 28, Jonathan Detrier. And the head coach, David Verger. And his assistants, Thierry Deschamps, Guillaume Grand, Guillaume Pezin, and the team manager, Aurélien van der Berg. And now, please let me give the word to our friends here at the streaming, Ryan and Greg. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
Attention now turns back to Group A, where Germany face the reigning world champions France. Two nations on very different paths in this competition. One still learning the ropes of international football, the other continuing to underline why they're regarded as the benchmark in world power chair football. For Germany, it has been a tough start to their debut Nations Cup. A 2-0 defeat to Belgium, where both goals came from own goals, was followed by a 6-0 loss to Northern Ireland. In patches we've seen they're trying to build. Marco Rollman brings stability when he operates centrally, and Daniel Oleg has shown flashes of promise when linking up with him, but consistency has been hard to find. Discipline has let them down at times with too many 2-on-1 infringements, and they've struggled to carry a real threat in open play. For them, today is about stepping up against the very best, testing themselves and proving they can learn and adapt quickly on this stage. France, by contrast, have hit the ground running, as they so often do, after being given a real scare by Northern Ireland in their opening game, trailing 1-0 at half-time. They switched to their tried and tested formation and showed their class, running out 5-1 winners. That was followed by a ruthless 7-0 victory over Spain, where Tristan Lebelay's hat-trick, Momo Galame's drive, and Aurélien Filatre's distribution stole the show. Brian Weiss has been influential as ever, and this squad just looks stacked with quality across the court. In terms of the group, France already top with 6 points. Belgium right behind them. Northern Ireland chasing hard. Germany remain on 0 and know that another defeat today would end their hopes of a semi-final place, and they would have to shift their focus to the playoffs for that 5th and final World Cup ticket. So the stage is set. Germany searching for progress and pride against France, the world champions, who look in formidable form once again. It's a meeting of the newcomers and the power chair football heavyweights.
Yes, good afternoon everyone. This game for France, an opportunity to perhaps rotate, give game time to players have not had a lot throughout the tournament so far. Maybe try some new passage of play or set pieces. For Germany, this is a monumental mountain they are about to attempt to climb. A game that perhaps they can use as a free hit. No one in this arena expects them to get anything out of this game. That can be dangerous if you are the side that's expected to win. Germany need to go out there, enjoy it as much as they can, take the lessons from whatever happens, and just try and give a good account of themselves. For France are a team that can put anyone to the sword. They will hope to try and take inspiration from Northern Ireland, and their defensive resolve, their discipline will need to be a lot better than it has been so far. It will need to be perfect. You cannot allow a team like France to be given any opportunities through your mistakes. I'm sure that is something that head coach for Germany, Nuri Anamis, will have mentioned to his players beforehand. Both sides, Ryan, making slight tactical tweaks, it seems like, with their lineups. Marco Roman no longer wearing that goalkeeper jersey, something we have been calling for. We'll see if that can provide Germany with a little bit more attacking impetus. And France resting Brian Weiss and putting the very impressive Aurelien Falatra in goal. See what he is like, perhaps, as a second pivot with the player that everyone looks to for France, Mohamed Galami, in front of him. I'm sure we're in for a cracking fixture, right?
I certainly hope so. Irrelevant of this result that is so heavily stacked in the favour of France, Germany just need to hit the reset button. You don't want to get away ahead of yourselves. We've been proved wrong in this competition. I hope the same can be applied here, but France have been so dominant. I don't think they've lost a group stage game in the last 11 years, so it is that monumental mountain you've referenced, and they are experimenting just to see the efficiency, the effectiveness of different players in different positions. The biggest change we observed coming into this competition is the utilisation of Erwan Kong in a wide position that he hasn't featured in, certainly for France, or what we've seen with Upsilon Châtenay-Malabry, his club side in Paris. Brian Weiss and Momo were trialling that pivot 4-out system that we associate with England, and I like the fact that they are testing and trialling different setups to have within their arsenal. Just for the context of the competition, this is the penultimate day of group stage fixtures. At the conclusion of tomorrow's action, whoever is in first and second will automatically progress to Tuesday's semi-final stage, and in doing so will also earn their ticket to Argentina. England, the first team to book their spot to Buenos Aires. France, with a win here, would replicate that of their closest rivals. Then whoever finishes in third and fourth will play the alternate in the opposite group in a series of playoff games where only one team can take the fifth and final ticket. The atmosphere is building. The Germans have been fantastic with their support, irrelevant of the result and scoreline. Germany are going to need to feel that across this. It's lifted Italy if and when they've played. It's lifted Denmark as two of our favourites to bring the noise. And I cannot encourage other nations enough to really bring the support. There's something about the atmosphere here when the drums are blaring. Germany have a whole host of instruments on that far side. Does make our job as commentators a little bit harder. We've got to talk a little bit louder and concentrate on each other's voice a little bit more, but that's exactly what we want. This is the pinnacle of European power chair football. And what a week it has been. This is only game 12 of 29. So we are not even nearly halfway through what has already been a historic competition.
Yes, we're only halfway through. I can't believe it's Sunday. We've been here since Wednesday. It's been glorious so far. The surroundings, the weather, the setup here is absolutely first class, and credit must go to our Italian hosts for the tournament they are putting on. Final instructions given to the players just under 5 minutes away from kickoff. Germany spoke to Nuri last night, ended up giving sort of a motivational team talk to his players outside the hotel. Said, look, you know it's going to be tough, just try and enjoy it. You know, this is where you are. The fans are creating an atmosphere that they need to enjoy and revel in.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. I can see that the French supporters on that far side, they've borrowed a Belgian drum. It has that famous Red Fox logo on the far side and the cockerel suit that appears at every international tournament. I have no doubt it will come on your screens at some point in the game. It's great, it's brilliant.
The French were loud enough without the massive drum they've now acquired. They are going great lengths. It really is an incredible atmosphere for this one. Germany and France, of course, two powerhouse nations in the running game. Many a good game played between them. The drums are going back and forth here. This is what we love. This is brilliant.
I hope they maintain that across this 40-minute fixture. Let's go through the starting squads of Germany and France, as already highlighted by Greg. Marco Roman, the captain, now in that familiar white strip. In goal will be Daniel Olek, with wingers of Efe Can Onanmis and Ludwig Leinweber. Their substitutes, Luis Mittag, Feli Fischer, Thies Otterstetter and Acacio Cossa. And for France, they line up unfamiliarly with Aurélien Filatre in goal in yellow. His complement of outfield attackers, an impressive one. Mohamed Galame, Tristan Lebelair and Erwan Konk. The substitutes for their Morgan Lifont, Brian Weiss, Youssef Ayad Zedam and Jonathan Detrier.
I hope the noise and the atmosphere translates through the stream to the people watching at home. Because it really is just a joy to be here and to be watching all this and bringing the action to you alongside Ryan. Again, we have a bit of a wait.
The teams are coming out far earlier than they were at the beginning of this competition. Maybe they want a little bit more time to warm up, to connect, to communicate prior to that game being kicked off. But the German players are in their half ready. The French are just preparing themselves. The officials, Nordin Subovic in the centre, complemented by Steve Crump and Niels Christensen Simonsen. The fourth official for this one is Remy Simon. As always, thank you to everyone that's tuning in. Get your thoughts, comments and predictions in the chat. I very much assume everyone thinks France will go on to secure 3 points here, but this could also provide them a really valuable opportunity to just trial and test against one of the competition's weaker nations. The noise is fantastic. The drum has now been picked up, and Momo Galame straight into his goalkeeper. A rare mistake, actually, from the France captain. Just allows FA Canonamis to get on the ball and put some pressure on the French defence. But as is so often the case, Momo Galame just breezing past his opponents. Le Verlet is trapped in that corner. Could have very easily been a 2-on-1 had he encroached any further, and Germany got some possession.
So straight away, a corner for France. And we've seen Denmark try this, the goalkeeper facing forwards rather than going side on.
Yeah, very strange approach, something that I suspect Momo Galame would have already picked up on to try and capitalise. It's a very unorthodox approach. There's gaps in and around that box. It goes into Momo Galame, over to Erwan Kong, and that is one of the easiest goals France will score all competition, and it all comes from that really strange setup.
We highlighted it for a reason. I don't quite know why both Denmark and Germany have tried to use this technique, but it's a beautifully cushioned front bumper from Mohamed Galame to the back post. Erwan Kong putting it right in the corner.
Yeah,
the Germans' defence has been broken within 90 seconds. That mountain I spoke about has just got that little bit taller.
Yeah, that skill from Momo Galame. It's a lot harder than it looks to use the pace and momentum of the ball in your favour. Just ensure the accuracy to another teammate. But he shows why many deem him the best player to ever grace the court. And he will want to right the wrong of Finland and regain the title of European champions. They were crowned in 2014 in Limerick, Ireland. They were beaten on penalties in Finland by England. Within that time and space, they've won 2 World Cups, so their trophy cabinet is missing something. Le Bellet into Momo Galame, lines up to shoot. If he's intentionally aiming for Tristan Le Bellet there, that is unbelievable.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he is. Otherwise, the shot would have gone far side, I think. That is sensational awareness from Momo Galame. Daniel Olek with this goal kick. The flick from Falatra works out for Ludwig Leinweber, and it's just flicked off the back of his back bumper.
That's a goal.
Went for the 180, and it really would have been.
I'm telling you now, that's a goal. Had he connected cleanly with that 180, Momo Galame was the most defensive and would have had a chance to block it had it gone goal bound. But I think that Ludwig Leinweber had the space and the opportunity to really upset the odds.
I think it would have gone all the way over to Efekan and Namis, who would have possibly had a tap in at the far post. Mohamed Galame, Germany have got to watch their distances on the edge of the box. He'll look for the gap between the wall. Well, Momo. We saw Northern Ireland give them too much space in that gap. So 3 in the box given away.
Yeah, it's really complacent play from Germany. Daniel Olek was just drawn towards that like a moth to a flame. And almost a needless 3 in the box that has been awarded, but I understand it. Trying to prevent those spaces and opportunities for France seems an almost impossible task. And Tristan Le Bellet now has no options in the box. Really interesting this. Whether he's going to try and play it off a German chair or wait for a late advancement from his captain or Konk. That is going to be the case. Over to Konk. That's a well-worked routine. They've obviously had some practice away from the main stage. We're seeing a really nice catalogue of varied set pieces, but I think nations are becoming aware of the benefits of being proficient at them, because so many goals can be scored as a result. of utilising them properly as EPFA Namis tries to break away.
You can see that Germany in defence are trying to replicate what Northern Ireland did, bringing their wingers back onto the edge of the box. The difference is they're already 1-0 down because of that goal from the corner, and they are giving away far more 2-on-1s than Northern Ireland did. And we said this at the start, their discipline has let them down so far this week, and it's letting them down again here.
This is another really dangerous opportunity. Interestingly, that they've gone with Le Belair as the orchestrator. Erwan Konk to the right, Momo Galame in the box. Will we see it go via all three players? No, Konk looks to get his brace. And that is where Germany are going to have success. Absorb the pressure and then just look for those pockets, those spaces to break on the counter. But even then, it's a hard ask because the positional awareness of Momo Galame, and in this instance Aurélien Filatre, is second to none, as Filatre gets a rare touch, nicely controlled, feints to pass to Erwan Konk, likewise to Le Belair, and that's a beautiful pass that takes EPFA Namis out the game. If they score now, that'll be goal of the competition, off the line by Marco Roman. Simply sensational from the world champions.
Oh, that was liquid. Aurélien Filatre, that was unbelievable. You cannot do that. Fakes the 90, takes it, then fakes the 180, fakes another 90, and then plays the 180. Oh, that was beautiful play from France. So unfortunately, it did not result in a goal.
We intercepted Aurélien Filatre in the hotel lobby yesterday, just to say for us, I think unanimously, it's Mohamed Galame doubles the advantage. He's always at the top. I was going to go on to say how we said that Aurélien Filatre was our player of the tournament, the quality that he's exhibited. But when you look at the strength and depth they have, Mohamed Galame world leading, but Erwan Konk, Tristan Le Belair and co raising their levels to ensure that there's quality and consistency amongst their ranks. 7.5 minutes in, Germany 0, France 2.
Oh, it's an emphatic finish from Mohamed Galame. Wound up, went round once, and just leathered the ball straight as an arrow through the middle of that defence. 2-0, and Aurélien Filatre is back on the ball. He's got Galame in support across, not quite to Le Belair, cut out by EPFA Namis. Still with Le Belair, as Galame in the middle. Filatre down the line. Namis has allowed him to play the pass. Filatre, that's too close to Leinweber, who shot, well blocked by Galame. Now I thought they were going to engage a dribble there. Beautiful pass from Galame, and Erwan Konk, not usually a wide player. Perhaps that showed there. Back on the ball. Galame all the way around. Le Belair back with Galame.
They're putting on a show now, aren't they? Passing, expanding the core. I think these are the perfect players to reference, and this example they're showing is that you don't have to leather it every time, as Le Belair scores a beautiful goal. The 30 seconds or so leading up to it, they were just passing away with freedom. Germany were chasing shadows, and Le Belair, who's well underway in terms of goal scoring, marks his first of the game. 9 minutes in, Germany 0, France 3.
Oh, that is goal of the tournament. That has to be goal of the tournament so far for me. Passing between the two, yes, they weren't pressed. Galame moves the ball up. The passing and moving was absolutely just incredible. They've carved through Germany there like a hot knife through butter. Buried. That is the pick of the bunch so far.
Yeah, completely agree. This is a hard watch if you're associated with the German national team, but if you're a fan of power chair football, you can only marvel at what these players are doing on a power chair football court, finding the gaps. I was going to go on to say that they just take the pace off the ball as Le Belair lines up a shot, blocked by Daniel Olek. You don't always have to hit it with as much power as possible. There's so much value in drawing an opponent in and finding those small pockets of space. The way that they change the tempo of play, they can speed it up, they can slow it down, but be just as effective, irrelevant of which one they pick.
Yeah, France do look very good. We do, of course, have to caveat that with just the relative experience of Germany, as the cockerel goes crazy in the stands for France as they go crazy on the court. Yeah, they're in party mood.
You're seeing these goals scored by France. German defence just don't know how to deal with it. But that is no shame, because that statement can be applied to every single nation on the planet.
There is no shame in this for Germany, so like
France have lost one game in 11 years. It probably extends beyond that, and that was only a close final with England at the last European Championships. Beyond that, they have been the benchmark, and they're showing no sign of slowing down as Le Belair finds Aurélien Filatre out by Efe Can Onyanmis. Tristan Le Belair has really found a rhythm in this competition. Struggled against Northern Ireland, but since then he's provided a real source of creativity and attacking potency in the final third, as that nearly makes its way all the way through the German defence. Came off the back wheel of Daniel Olek. Once again, number 55 has to stop the advancements, and that's a very assured clearance.
Ball across, cut out by Olek. Guillaume takes a touch off and then miss. Back to Filatre.
No matter where they seem to play Aurélien Filatre, he seems to be the standout. He's clearly developed in the last 2 or so years. I don't remember him performing to this level of quality and consistency in Sydney. As Momo Galame tries to force his way round Efe Can Onyanmis, Erwin Konk off the court. A new ruling that's been introduced for this competition, whereby a player can leave the court to avoid a 2-on-1 infringement. Then they have to wait for the referee's signalling to come back on.
If you're of a German disposition, it's not about to get any easier for you, because they've just put the goalkeeper jersey back on Brian Weiss on the bench.
Interestingly, Jonathan Detrier isn't adorning one, so if and when he does feature, it will be in an attacking position, something we are yet to see. But Le Belair, once again, responsibility of the set piece. A few options now, setting up in a different way than the last. Erwin Konk probably the option that goes through. Daniel Olek with an assured clearance, and Aurélien Filatre receives into Momo Galame. Daniel Olek has been the busiest player on the court, trying to prevent this ruthless attack from France.
A couple of really nice clearances, really assured clearances from Daniel Olek there. Guillaume, Filatre, Le Belair, just playing it about with ease here, France. Guillaume turns, drives at that box, fakes the flick, and then tries to put it between the gap between Roman and Olek. The pair doing well. Konk dummies it. Filatre across. Le Belair just a little bit behind Guillaume. Signal for 3 in the box. Advantage played And now we'll call it back for that free kick. They're almost flirting with Germany. They're just keeping him on that edge of the playing with them a little bit.
That passage of play was simply world class, as is most of the things they do, but we haven't seen England hit this rhythm in the competition thus far. France are showing why they are the elite, they are the favourites, and whilst I understand the context of this being against Germany, it takes nothing away from how good France have been. Now Momo Galame with responsibility. Erwan Konk and Tristan Lebelair slightly forced that from Lebelair as the officials signal for the first substitute. If it was tough already, it's probably about to get even worse as Brian Weiss, another superstar of the sport, comes back in the place of Aurélien Filatre. The abundance of quality at David Verge's disposal is scary.
Mate, a rare mistake on a 180.
Someone clip that, because that does not happen often. As Marco Rollman comes over, FA can and miss. Just some short passes exchanged between the two German players before Tristan Lebelair puts himself between them to prevent the passing lane. Brian Weiss's first touch is a nice weighted pass to Momo Galame. Too much pace, so it invites Ludwig Leinweber. Pick off from Weiss. Very congested, surely a 2-on-1, but play continues. Over to Momo Galame. The touch from Ludwig Leinweber almost put it into Momo Galame's path. And you cannot switch off for a second if you're a German defender. As Brian Weiss over to Konk, into the box. Momo Galame unselfishly looking for Lebelair, who gets the secondary effort. Erwan Konk, good defence from Marco Rollman. But it is relentless. Daniel Olek now finds its way to Erwan Konk. It's not often, as a commentator, you're out of breath trying to keep up with the action when players live for so long. On that occasion, it goes in Germany's favour.
As Morgan Lafont comes on for Tristan Lebelair. What I would say is France are playing some stupendous football, but possibly just lacking a clinical edge, because it is for all their dominance and incredible football, it is still only 3-0. I think Germany deserves some credit for keeping the scoreline as low as they have so far.
Yeah, we like to focus on the positives, and despite the scoreline, this is the best defensive performance I've seen from Germany, and if they apply this in games against the likes of Spain later in this competition, they'll have a chance of being part of that playoff process, as Morgan Lafont recently introduced for Lebelair as an attempt at goal. So if you finish 5th in your respective group, you are out of the competition in terms of the competitive ticketing process for the World Cup. You still have an opportunity to fight for 9th. But if you finish 4th, you will play 3rd in the alternate group, and vice versa. The winners of those games will progress to a 5th place playoff on Wednesday, the winner of which will take the final ticket to Buenos Aires. Looks like Brian Weiss has come over to take this corner ball. Morgan Lafont, the most defensive of the 4 players. Into the box, Erwan Konk unopposed. Exactly the same as the opener from the corner ball. The German defence trying to cover Momo Galame because of the threat he has, but as soon as they do, the space opens for the alternate winger, and Erwan Kong just has to drive onto that ball and cushion it over the line. Germany 0, France 4.
Yeah, Erwan Kong getting his second. Another front bumper finish into the corner. Brilliant ball from Brian Weiss. I would have to question Marco Rollman. I think he's read that ball all wrong from Brian Weiss. Thought he was going to go in the gap between himself and Daniel Olek and drove forward, almost out of the way of the ball. Mohamed Ghalami didn't even move to put the dummy in. I won't want to watch that one back with fondness. And then miss clears only as far as Brian Weiss, whose contact so far, I must admit, has not been as good as you'd expect. Nanmis is all alone in the France final third. Finally, he gets some support, but now it's too late.
And
they're getting driven back towards their own box.
And now the potential overload for France as well, but it's almost a case of you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Committing players forward. Yes, they'll have no chance at goal, but maybe they're just trying to restrict that goal difference, keep it as minimal as possible. As Erwan Kong at the back post nearly has an opportunity to register his hat-trick. That would have been a turn of events. If I had told you prior to the game that Erwan Kong would be amongst some of the top goal scorers, you would have probably called me crazy, because he has been exclusively a goalkeeper for as long as I can remember. But it shows the versatility that he has to his game, and that same statement can be applied to every single one of those French players. Something they've clearly had as an objective in terms of creating the versatility. And no matter what position, no matter what player lineup, they will impress. A dominant first half from the world champions, and it is no surprise that they go into the break 4-0 up. Erwan Kong with 2 sharp finishes from corner balls. Momo Ghalami added another, and Tristan Lebelair rounding it off. But just as impressive as the goals has been the quality of France's passing, the speed, the precision, the angles they find. It has been breathtaking, the best we've seen in the competition so far. And Germany simply haven't been able to live with it. Join myself and Greg for the second half shortly. Hello everyone and welcome back to the 2025 EPFA Nations Cup here in Lignano. We are just moments away from the restart here. It's been all France so far. 4 goals in that first half. 2 from Owen Conk, 1 from Momo Galame and 1 from Tristan Lebelair. And it wasn't just the finishing, it was the quality of the build-up that stood out. Their pressing was incredible, their passing was sharp, incisive, and Germany just simply couldn't cope. So now the question is, what happens from here? Do France keep the intensity high and look to add to their tally, or do they rotate further and experiment with tougher tests still to come? For Germany, it's about pride and resilience. Can they find a foothold in this game, show more organisation, and perhaps create a moment of their own? Either way, the second half is about to get underway with France firmly in control.
Yeah, you run out of superlatives in that first half to describe France. Their movement was exceptional. Their ball control, incredible. Their passing, just sensational. For Germany, it's a tough test. But their fans, as you can see, are just above that scoreboard, are still enjoying their time here in Italy, which is really good to see.
Whilst a lot of our attention goes to the results on the court, these international tournaments are about so much more, are coming together. Firstly, a celebration of even being here, being one of the 10 top elite nations in the continent of Europe. It's about international exchange, meeting new people and players. And we see away from this power chair football court, the interactions around dinner and the social activities in the evening. It is so fantastic, and they are enjoying every second of it. There was never any expectation on their young shoulders. As long as they come away from this, having enjoyed the experience, go away in the next couple of years, work on their development, they could produce and replicate what we've seen other nations do, Italy and Northern Ireland, particularly, as Efe Kanoname is going to attempt an effort, but he shot well wide out for a kick-in. To go through the squads, unchanged from Germany, Daniel Olek, Marco Roman, Ludwig Leinweber and Efe Kanoname. And that exciting pairing for France in Brian Weiss and Momo Galame. Youssef Ayad-Zadam has entered the action, and that is complemented and completed by Morgan Lafont, who has an attempt. It goes as far as Marco Roman on the line. Youssef Ayad-Zadam. Galame attempts an effort just off the back bumper of Marco Roman. The ricochet nearly fell kindly to Morgan Lafont, but they are looking to pick up where they left off.
Yeah, they're not resting on their laurels, France, at all. I think it took a little nick off of Daniel Olek's chair. Fortunately went onto Marco Roman. Bit of pinballing around, but it will be a corner. They have scored from 2 of these already. Can they make it a third?
Weiss, disappointing by the high standards that they have set. If you thought the atmosphere was good in this one, the next one up, Italy versus Ireland, as Youssef Ayad-Zadam doesn't make connection. He hasn't quite found the rhythm and sharpness that he exhibited at the most recent Club World Cup, where he finished as a runner-up with Grato Villeneuve-Dascq. He connects nicely there. Daniel Olek clears as far as Momo Galame, can't connect with the 180, so France condense them right in. Efe Kanoname has to back off, and Brian Weiss finds the gap, but he wasn't singing off the same song sheet as Youssef Ayad-Zadam.
Such a good pass from Brian Weiss. Just found a ball's width gap there. Youssef Ayandadam's got to stay there.
He just hasn't hit the pace of this team as of yet, has he? And I am one of his biggest fans. But he's been away from the international stage for many years, so we have to give him a bit of a grace period, as we did with Tristan Lebelair and Morgan Lafont, who now look really sharp as it goes as far as Brian Weiss into Momo Galame. Him and Lafont both going for that. It's a rare bit of miscommunication. You see in Brian Weiss's communication, that's his ball. Morgan Lafont needs to drop off and have trust and faith in his goalkeeper.
Yeah, a bit of real miscommunication there between the two. I actually don't think that's Brian Weiss's ball. I think Lafont can have that as Brian Weiss gets on the end of a Daniel Olek goal kick. Just front bumpers it past the helpless Olek. Free kick, sorry. Hit straight at Brian Weiss. That is something you just don't do, especially when you are the last person in defence. It was over to the left-hand side, too close to Brian Weiss. He's just gift wrapped that little goal for Brian Weiss there.
Yeah, I said Erwan Konk's fourth was one of the easiest goals you'll score of this competition. That may trumpet Daniel Olek's free kick was only ever going to meet one bumper, and that was that of Brian Weiss. 23, just under 24 minutes gone. It's Germany 0, France 5.
One thing I will say, I still don't think France, as crazy as it sounds, are at their purring best. Some of their connection, their timing hasn't been quite right. It's scary to think that they may have even just another level above this.
What's so intriguing to me about this competition is we've seen England and France be dominant, win all three of their games, or following conclusion of this, that will be the case for France. It is the complete unknown who will finish as the runners-up. So France cannot begin planning as to who their semi-final rival will be until it's concluded tomorrow evening. The same can be applied for England. Will it be Italy? Will it be Denmark? Will it be Ireland? There's so many huge games left to be had across the next day or so. And with England, will it be Belgium? Will it be Northern Ireland? It's surely going to be one of those two. They meet in the last game of today, so we could see arguably one of the most significant fixtures finishing off day 3 as Momo Galame patiently waiting for that gap to arise off the front of Daniel Olek.
Yeah, he is tough out there for Germany. One thing I think that shows the development of European power jet football, though, is 6 years ago when some of these newer developing nations played the likes of England and France, we saw some huge scorelines. I'm talking double figures, getting nearly up to 20. We have not seen that this tournament, Ryan.
And 6 years is generous because Germany, Italy and Spain certainly haven't been nations for more than 5, I don't think. I think most of them hit real pace and momentum following reality of the COVID pandemic. Since then, they've developed significantly, so absolutely echo what you're saying. Germany made their debut in 2022. So you think if this nation has only been competing for 3 years, what they could do in another 3. Substitute signalled by our official and featuring for the first time this game. We're going to see Jonathan Detrier feature in an outfield role. Momo Galame coming off. They're going to rest him, make sure that he is primed and ready for their conclusion in the group stage tomorrow, whereby they face Belgium, which some are saying will be their sternest test. But they would have already wrapped up that semi-final placement as Youssef Ayandadam gets his European Championships underway. He's on the mark. And once again, France exhibiting some clinical, ruthless passing, which ends in a goal.
Yeah, Brian Weiss picking off a pass from Marco Roman. Little deflection, takes it into the path of Lafont. 180 across to Zadam, who gets his front bumper on it. Just enough, because it wasn't quite in the corner. But he will not care one jot. Brian Weiss has kept that in for EPFA cannon and miss. Now do battle.
He almost invites pressure to then create those overloads in attack, something we see the best players do. As Youssef Ayad Zadam back to Brian Weiss. He has Jonathan Detrier to his right. That was only ever going to meet the bumper of EPFA cannon and miss. Lefon, Detrier, good first involvement for the number 28. Over to Morgan Lefon. Slots it in the left-hand post. Absolutely fantastic from France, who now lead Germany by 7.
Yeah, Morgan Lefon getting in on the act. Daniel Olek just couldn't quite get there. Left Marco Roman 1v1 and the front bumper, easy finish for Morgan Lefon. Cut off their fans who were singing La Marseillaise and ringing it around the arena. This is tough for Germany, but they knew it would be. They've just got to look at it for what it is. They are playing the #1 ranked team in the world, a team that have been playing this beautiful style of football for so long.
Nice work from Youssef Ayad Zadam to keep that ball live. If you want to really acknowledge how good this France squad is, the 4 players on this court were the 4 players that composed the bench prior to this game kicking off. It's completely changed from David Verge. So he knows no matter what combination of player he puts out on that court, they will get the job done and will do so in style. That's good work from Daniel Olek. We have to try and pick some positives from this. And I will say again, if they have this sort of defensive awareness and respect their opponents as they're doing so here, they will have more success. They've got a big game against Spain tomorrow morning to kick off day 4, and that represents their best opportunity to register some points.
We go for the water break. French fans are in full voice. Really creating just a brilliant atmosphere here as we have a lull whilst the players take on some drinks and some instructions. For France, it's, well, carry on. Enjoy yourself, do what you're doing, have a bit of fun with it. For Germany, it's keep going. I know it's tough. Just keep going. Do not give up, and they won't give up. They know what they're up against.
This, the 4th game of 6 today. Following this, Ireland versus Italy at 4:30 local time here in Italy. That's the Central European summertime. And then finally, another huge game. Back-to-back games which could all but decide the second semi-finalist in each group. Northern Ireland take on Belgium. You will not want to miss it. We will be taking you on every moment, every step of that journey. We still have 10 minutes or so left to be played in this one as France look to record the most comprehensive victory of the competition. 2-on-1, thankfully for Germany in their favour as they ready their first substitute of the game. It will be Thies Otterstetter coming on. I suspect EPFA cannon and miss coming off. It will be actually Ludwig Leinweber. It's hard to assess player performance and player ability in a game against France, but the success, the limited success that Germany have had, Ludwig Leinweber has looked bright, so no doubt has talent and will be a big player in the future, even if it hasn't materialised in his debut competition.
Bit of a Viking clap going for the French in the stands. I'm surprised that Nuri Anambis has not looked to go to his bench a little bit sooner. You know, this game was long gone for Germany.
Yeah,
and they've got players out there players on the bench who have not played a lot of football. I'm looking at Felicitas Fischer, Luis Mittag. Acacio Costa's a great player. Give him a game, give him some minutes against the world champions. As Morgan Le Font forces the ball between the gap. Daniel Luck's chair, I think, has stopped working.
Beyond that, Greg, just the option, just being able to say you've played against the likes of France, of Brian Weiss and Mohamed Galame, that is something to be proud of. To say you've shared the dance floor with them. And as soon as you said that, it looks like Nuri Anambis has called upon one of his substitutes to get ready. It's going to be Feli Fischer. Looks as if Daniel Olek has recovered. It was very heavy contact between him and Marco Rollman as they try to prevent France's 8th.
Set ball will restart play. Brian Weiss versus Marco Rollman. He's got Ayhan Zidane to his left as Brian Weiss. Oleg straight past to Weiss. Le Font, and it's 8 for France. Set ball flicked out towards Daniel Oleg, who just front bumpered it straight to Brian Weiss. That is something you just do not do. It dragged him out of position. Easy pass to Le Font, who just swiped it in to that open goal. Germany 0, France 8.
Yeah, an impressive accumulation of goals. As Marco Rollman gets us back underway, Feli Fischer has the job of restricting those passing lanes that are so accurate. Le Font has to drop off there with Youssef Ayad Zidane taking some rare territory in the centre. He flicks it towards the most recent goal scorer. 2-on-1 in Germany's favour. I'd have to watch it back. I think they've done enough to maintain 3 metres.
Is the new rule not 3 metres either side of the ball? Which is maybe why some of them we think are quite tight.
Yeah.
Something, because I've been one of those that, oh my word, that is pinball between Oleg and Otterstedt. Ryan Weiss all the way around. The strike blocked by Rollman. Feli Fischer has kept it in for Le Font. Brian Weiss will just play it back to Detrier. It's a poor pass. Detrier has to just pass it to Fischer just to keep the ball in. Brings it forwards, leaves it for Le Font. Brian Weiss. Again to Detrier.
That combination hasn't quite clicked, has it?
No, I think there's something triggering my head about the rule slightly changing for 2-on-1s, which may be why some of them appeared tighter for me and you than possibly they normally were. Zidane back to Weiss. Down the line from Weiss back to Zidane. They're passing round Otterstedt.
Yeah.
Le Font. That's just going to be too far away from Zidane. It felt a little bit like Piggy in the middle there, Ryan.
When we go back to those 2-on-1 infringements, I have to say we are afforded a very favourable angle up here, well above the grandstand It's one of the best views I've ever had of a power chair football court. So we can see it far better than that of the referee. So we'll have to be a little bit understanding when the pace is so great. Otterstetter gives possession back to Brian Weiss, who receives it via Yusuf Ayadzadam. Otterstetter can't encroach any more forward. Just trying to understand this decision. Deemed Yusuf Ayadzadam and Brian Weiss too close to one another.
It has to be 3 metres either side of the ball. I remember something as that ball from Oleg is under hit. Zadam straight at the German goalkeeper. 2 minutes left. Zadam, Brian Weiss, just too far in front. And Feli Fischer has got that forward, and it has taken. I thought he took a deflection off.
To her credit, that was a lovely angled pass just up the court to relieve pressure. As disappointingly, she's coming off in place of Acacio Cossa. Disappointed. I would like to have seen her feature, certainly after that little bright bit of involvement. But you can tell they're very reluctant to take off that central pairing of Daniel Oleg and Marco Rollman, with Otterstetter coming on in the half as well.
She's getting some instructions from Louis Ambus. I don't think I agree with that, because oh, what a ball that is from Lefont. Daniel Oleg, it just rests in his bumper. Going back to that decision, Oleg, you've got to admire that, Oleg. The ball was in his bumper and he's gone for a break up the court. They've not lost their sense of humour, Germany. They're enjoying it still. But I don't think he's very deep in conversation, Noreen Ambus, with Feli Fischer. I don't quite see what she potentially did wrong. And no disrespect to Germany, it's 8-0 with a minute left. Don't think a substitution is going to change much in that regard. It's a feel for Louise Mittag, the only player not to have come on, really, for Germany.
Brian Weiss. 10 seconds of regulation time. Morgan Lefont registers his hat-trick. Germany 0, France 9.
Yeah, emphatic finish from Lefont. His chair was angled towards the far side. He just whips it round, puts it in that near post. There was a gap there for Marco Roman. It's too big. 9-0. Just shows how dominant France have been in this game. It is a harsh, harsh lesson for Germany. They'll want to desperately avoid double figures. No team has conceded double figures so far in this tournament. They will not want to be the first. Fortunately for them, I don't think there is going to be much longer added on by referee Norden Subovic. Ayadzadam in all sorts of space, just lets loose from the halfway line. Oleg has to save it, but Morgan Lefont is gonna get another. It is double figures for France. They've hit Germany for 10 as the full-time whistle goes. The ball dumped forward by Marco Rollman. Little touch into Lefont. Beautiful ball to the dam. His effort saved by Oleg, but the rebound buried by Lefont. Ryan, double figures for France, a very harsh lesson for Germany.
Yeah, a statement performance from the world champions. 10-0 to make it 3 wins from 3 in Group A. After a dominant first half that saw Conk, Galame and Lebelair on the score sheet, they only press harder after the break. Brian Weiss added a 5th. Yusuf Ayadzadam made it 6 before it was the Morgan Lefont show. who scored for. What really stands out is not just the scoreline, but the depth. France completely rotated their lineup in the second half, yet the quality never dipped. The press remained relentless, the passing razor sharp, and the goals kept coming. The ability to mix, match and still dominate is exactly what makes this squad such a frightening prospect. For Germany, it's another harsh lesson. They showed resilience in spells, but simply couldn't cope with the movement, speed and technical precision of France. Their focus now turns on to their final group game against Spain. For France, though, it's another ruthless reminder of their pedigree. 3 wins, 22 goals scored, just 1 conceded. The world champions are looking every bit the team in Lignano Sabbiadoro.
And here we are with Monsieur Erwan Konk. I ask everyone, do I pronounce your name properly?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, Erwan. Wow, 10-0. There was a storm. Tell me about the game.
It was a good game. We are preparing the competition. The competition is coming, semi-final, and we hope to be in the final. Then this match was a good preparation. Germany is a new team. They learn how to play, and for us it was a little bit easier than yesterday. But they play well too, and we are happy about what we done on the pitch.
Absolutely. I believe all the teams, they are warming up in this competition. It's not easy, everybody's very nervous, but everyone is growing and getting better. So congratulations again for your team. Celebrate tonight and get ready for the next one.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers. Keep going. Okay. Well, they tell me I can ask another question because we have no one else.
Okay.
What do you think your team can work on to get better in the next competitions?
We have to improve our game of pass, because there is some last pass that were good, but at the finishing we have to improve it a little bit. But we still ready to face all the teams, but nothing is done. We have to be focused on the next games, and it will be good.
Yeah, everybody believes your passing game is very good already, but I believe it can get even better. So again, good luck.
Improve.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Here we go. That was Erwan Konk who scored 2. And now we have number 7, Felicitas Fischer. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
All
correct.
right, okay. All right, Felicitas. There was another very, very intense game.
Yes.
But you guys fight very hard until the last moment. And how do you feel after this game?
I think we gave our best for our team. France was a very hard and tough team, and we knew that. And I think we gave our best, and that is the best decision we could make.
Absolutely. Everybody could see, as I said, you're also a young team, so
Yes.
you guys are improving. To be in this big competition is not easy. You must be very, very nervous.
Yeah.
But again, you fight very hard, so congratulations for that. I'm pretty sure you guys will improve. You have something you think you can do better for next game?
Yeah, I think we must to train our pass more, because we dribble so much, and we must pass, because then the ball is rolling again, and maybe we go to the other side, and yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough. Again, Good effort. I wish you all the best. Felicitas, and take a good rest. You deserve it.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Thank you very much to Felicitas as well, and I'll see you very soon to the last game of the day. See ya.